I'm calling up this fire 909-982-2463. That seems like an awful lot of numbers. 909-982-24653. That can't be a right number. Call ended. That's bizarre as anything. It's the number I got from Aspire, and it's bizarre as hell. It's got too many numbers. Oh, that's the other thing. It had Aspire Sylvia. This was missing. I find a lot of high-tech toys like 909-982-2465.
Thank you for calling Aspire Healthcare Services. If this is a life-threatening emergency, please hang up and dial 911. This call may be monitored or recorded for quality assurance. For patient care coordinator, please press 1. For staffing and medical records, please press 2. For case management, press 3.
I want an operator.
Please hold while I try to connect you.
Yes, this is Aspire.
Yes.
This is John, the receptionist. And
Again, what's your name, sir?
Brady, B-R-A-D-Y.
Oh, yeah. Hi, sir, John Brady. Yes.
I just got a call from Dr. Jackson's assistant, Mila, and I want to let you know I'm not going to answer the door for Flora or two of those nurses. I've been trying to switch to something that does not change their number, does not change their name of their home health again and again. And I got some disrespect from Flora, who I've seen for a few years since.
Okay. Sorry about that, sir. You want me to transfer you to our case manager?
I don't want a case manager. I want to end Aspire disrespecting me in my home. Can you do that?
No. Here on our office, the case manager here on our office.
I don't know what you mean by case manager.
Oh, we have a case manager here, a registered nurse that you can talk to about.
Well, all I want to tell you, I've seen your very bizarre. I'd made my sugar check the last time one of your nurses came, and she interrupted. I had just finished my check. She came up, she took the sugar, and it was 35 points higher. I don't see how I can grow blood sugar without eating at all.
Okay.
And I've also got disrespect from Flora. I don't like
Okay. I'll be noting on that one. Can you put you on hold for a second, please?
Okay.
Hold on.
This right here, that's Flora down the street across from Dr. Martha Mesa, what inspired the California tourist check, fire department tourist check, excuse me.
Hi.
Yes.
Hi, sir, John Brady. Yes, Flora will not be going there.
Great.
We will not have that one. Only Evelyn.
I don't know, that name sounds familiar. I don't like her. I don't think either. Is he the one with a kind of a sing-songy voice?
Oh, no, yeah, she's different now. She's been there before.
Yeah, no, I've had trouble. I have a lot of I'm an artist. I do my artwork, and she picks up my artwork, if that's the one I'm thinking of, and she says she doesn't see much use for it. She's being bizarre in that fashion, and I don't understand why would she do that. And I don't like nurses who say, well, you're up to this blood sugar thing, I should have you in the emergency room. I don't like her disrespect doing that, especially when I went to the emergency room a year ago, and she was supposed to be here when the paramedic showed up, Nurse Flora, and she wasn't. I don't like fly-by-night nurses or doctors, and I don't want Evelyn.
Okay. I'll just put you on I'll just transfer you to our case manager if that's the case, so we can do this properly.
Okay.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah, I got insulin poisoning from Traceba insulin last year prescribed by Martha Mesa down the street in that direction. Gave me that. I didn't feel anything after injecting all year long, and then September it hit me like a ton of bricks. And Flora, I'm literally in bed calling Flora up to have her come, and yes, she's right across at that time. One of her fly-by-night home health companies is down right across from Martha Mesa's office. And she didn't show up doing her job back then. Maybe she thought she was getting some folks documenting, perhaps. She said she's going to be there right there, and she wasn't there. I ended up having my past health IHSS past worker who does the laundry and washes the floors. She ended up being here to call the LA Fire Department. That's how that image got inspired. Where'd it go? Do that LA Fire Department California tourist check 424-229-4140. Not one. Flight 93 check call in a decade of asking.
Hi, Mr. John Brady.
Yes.
I'll transfer you right now to our case manager, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, I tried to connect you. Hi, Mr. Brady. Good afternoon.
Yes, ma'am.
This is Princess. How are you?
This is Francis.
Yeah, I spoke with you several times. How are you today?
I'm fine. I don't want to use Aspire again. I have called to end that. I left a message, and I just got a call from the doctor's assistant, Mila, and had trouble communicating to her that I don't want to use the Aspire again because of Flora and a couple of different nurses with her.
I see. Okay. So, is it just the nurse, or do you have other concerns?
It's the concerns is the nurse showing up, knocking on the door without calling first. It's the woman picking up one of those, the one with the, I don't know how else to describe it as a sing-songy kind of voice. She talks that way. That's I've heard lots of folks who do that. That's the only way I can describe her. And she picks up my artwork and she says, I don't see much use for this. And being just plain disrespectful, I don't understand why she's there just to take, the blood pressure and the temperature. And to be disrespectful in that way.
I'm sorry about that experience. Do you, by any chance, remember what's the name of the nurse?
No, ma'am. The name I do not know. Some names I can recall, but for some reason I just can't. It was someone sent by your company, and she called, I believe, in her car, and I said, I don't want to have you as a nurse, and she said they'd send someone else, and they did. And later on, they tried to send her again. I don't appreciate that with healthcare.
Yeah, I sincerely apologize. So, okay, so you don't want to be seen anymore? Is that what you're...
I don't want to see the disrespectful nurses. Flora, who showed up unexpectedly, and I let her in, I talked to her, and she's going on and on about how she doesn't like my blood sugar and she should be having me in the emergency room. I don't appreciate that, especially with the experience I had with Dignity Health last year with my insulin poisoning. So I took that as meaning she did not want to be my nurse anymore. I can understand that. I just don't like you. I took it as a threat because I was in a lot of pain when I went to Dignity Health Glendale Memorial. And Flora, who was supposed to be here to make sure I get into the hospital, get relief for the intense pain, and I'm in pain always. Intense pain I was in, and she didn't do that, so I really take that as someone telling me we're going to give you another bad experience with Dignity Health. Or the other doctors, the Adventists are up here, aren't they? In Eagle Rock.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'll make a note on that. And
Okay.
once again, I sincere. With regards to the nurse floor, will you be okay if we send someone else, or you don't?
If you send somebody else who just wants to take the blood pressure and do that, that's fine. Call first. Make sure it's after 10 o'clock and before dark. I don't answer the door after dark. I'm in a wheelchair, and I don't go out on the weekend because they have trouble with the elevator. It will have to be someone who can come during the afternoon, 12 to 3 perhaps, or 10 to 3. And yes, someone who's not doing what I just described to you. I don't want to bore you telling you again.
I'll make I'll make note of the nurse. I'll make sure she's not the one who's going to see you.
Okay. Her, Nurse Flora, or the actually, I think it's two different ones. That's why I was talking about a different company.
So there's another nurse other than Flora?
Yeah, there are two others. I just
I see.
told you about the one with my artwork, and she didn't like it and was very disrespectful. And then recently, the one who showed up with my blood sugar jumping 30 points, and I don't understand how it can do that when I'm not eating. I just took it myself. She called right afterwards. I went down, let her in, and then the blood sugar was 35 points higher. And yeah, I didn't like, it doesn't seem like it should do that. And I don't, I understand you're just taking the blood sugar, but I don't want to end up in the hospital like I was last year. September last year, Dignity Health, and they're not doing anything other than sending me back to my apartment in pain as I went over there to the hospital. I don't appreciate that. It's not what I expect from healthcare.
you had a bad experience?
I had an incredibly bad experience with Dignity Health last year, and Flora not being here to, after I just talked to her on the phone. At this time, she was down the street, just past York on Eagle Rock Boulevard, and she didn't show up. I ended up having Mirza, the pass worker, she called the paramedics for me, and they took me over there and did not, I didn't get in. I would have been better off in my home, in my bed, in that pain, and I didn't like the Flora, her last trip to here, unexpectedly, and telling me she didn't like the high sugar counts and I should be in the emergency room. I didn't appreciate that.
She's the one who sent you to the hospital?
No. Mirza, she called 911 for me, and the paramedics took me over there, and they did not do anything for my pain, and I don't like the Dignity Health workers, and I don't appreciate it when your staff is threatening to take me to an emergency room or have me in an emergency room when I've had that bad of an experience.
Yeah, all I can say is that, to remind you that if in any case like that, where, because it's our protocol whenever we feel that the patient needs to be seen, in an emergency room. When you always have the right to refuse, and in a case like that where they feel that you need to be checked immediately in the hospital, or they have to call 911, you can always refuse, and you can let the nurse know that you don't want to be sent to the hospital. And
Okay.
we will definitely respect your decision.
Okay, that's great. So she shows up, she's got a bad attitude. I can refuse to be taken to the hospital because of the bad experience I had the last year. I appreciate that. You will be able to come, she said, tomorrow between 10 and 12. Will you be able to do that? Once again, it has to be during the week, and it has, sleep's my pain medicine, so it has to be after 10 o'clock and, of course, before dark. Because I don't open my door after dark, and it's getting dark earlier, later. I thank you for listening, and you're going to send somebody or not tomorrow. Let me know.
I will check the schedule visit for tomorrow.
Okay.
And I will give you a call. So do you want me to give you a call around 10 o'clock in the morning?
Sure. That will work.
Okay. Well, thank you, Mr. Brady. And you have a wonderful evening.
Yes, ma'am. You have a good one, too.
Thank you. Okay, bye-bye.
Bizarre as hell. I hope, I'm showing off my imagery. It calms me. And I don't like that disrespect. I worked at Sears one time before I moved out here to California. And there's I think her name was Robin or something. And she had this kind of a sing-songy voice. And she was very nice, but this woman who showed up, either you know what I'm talking about with the vocal quality or not, she showed up and, she shows up to take the blood pressure and take the temperature. And then she's off, and in between she's picking up my artwork, and saying how she doesn't see much use for it. It's supposed to seem to be trying to dissuade me from doing my artwork, and this is LA Skyline. It also includes Flight 93 checks, not one Flight 93 check call in over a decade of asking, 11 years actually, and that woman, Aspire, and Flora, manager of Aspire, I'm assuming, keeps going from one company to the next. I got like 3 different pamphlets on her companies, her home health. That woman seemed very calm and nice, so I will see them tomorrow, and they like Flora did, to remind me of the year before when she didn't. She's down the street. She gave me an address, they gave me the card, and it's right down the street across from Martha Mesa, Muslim doctor, gave me insulin poisoning. I don't like that. Very painful. And I've been in a lot of pain all my life. You will, those of you who can check out the Catholic school, Monroe, Louisiana. Good shepherd, Father Moore for years and years, very nice man, priest. But you will find in those photos, kindergarten maybe, you'll see me smiling with my teeth showing. First grade on, no. That's going to school with a lot of Catholic folks, Catholic cowards as I've called them recently. And that's that eyes growing a new thing going on back in the 70s, the 1970s. I know what pain is, and the disrespectful doctor with Dignity Health, which I later Googled and found was a Catholic hospital, Rapetti like spaghetti, is being very disrespectful to my pain, and he and the male nurse that, yes, looked like they had done research on the devil, Samuel Lynn Bond, gay husband of the devil, my sister, looked like that from the rays that came out of them in the emergency room. And they showed me they could control the pain, at least doctors can. 8 times better than Dolpha, 8 times better than morphine, Dolpha something. And as the guy's injecting the male nurse, he's injecting it into my arm, I said, oh man, that's where I can feel it in my muscles. And he literally ran out of that room. He was expecting something different. The blonde, a little bit portly nurse or doctor, I didn't talk to her, but she's in that kind of a rocket launch kind of thing, all the computers and everything. And I saw a lot of surprised faces as I'm rolling out of there with 8 times better than Dolpha, and go down to the MRI in the basement, and these 2 guys have pushed me over to do that, and the assistant, female assistant there, says everything but the head. But yeah, I'm thinking whatever bizarre stuff was going on. It's something that's a part of growing a new pair of eyes, whole new body. Let me take my, I can make a nice video series of this. Let me show you my eyes in the next video. For any qualified doctors out there. And yes, that's the one and only's eyes that is giving you a whole lot of spotlight on Catholic. The Pope's hatred backup Noah's next door with AT&T Catholic Randall Stevenson. Familiar name from Stevenson. Familiar name from Good Shepherd, Kindergarten, a stutterer, Keith Stevenson. Let me close this off. I need to do that more. I can show off my imagery. I've got it organized. I will show you the eyes in the next one and hopefully get this off to add to that. If they want to complain about it, by all means. show that you can reach me by phone and you're active in the world's hijack lifelines with that BS, same for Dignity Health, Catholic frauds of doctors, Martha Mees, a Muslim doctor down the street. You get them on video, you get those weird Wadeo things going. The ever-present engineers of technology, making for a much better world. Make that video of Catholic doctors all over the place, being the devil for the Pope. You try to call me from Vatican City. Time on your phone, date in your video. This place is the devil's home. Make the video, post the video. There's the devil with true believers and the way of building Jesus' immaculate house. We're without those 1,000 points of light. I'm Melton, son of a carpenter and Mary. This is gold. Sharp wheelchair. Now I'm going to show you my eyes as part of this series about Aspire Healthcare and Nurse Flora. Connection between Sony Ta, Chinese American doctor, with the Star Clinic, Skid Row, to this place. DHS program mentioned, they're nice, they got me moved out here, but these are the stigmatized that doctors can't talk about. Used to be all brown, slowly but surely changing to blue. Little genetic carpentry on the part of the son of a carpenter Mary. Dad, the carpenter, worked on skyscrapers by Mariana. I'm the son of a carpenter Mary. And I have a unique metabolism with that growing of the new body. And Martha Mesa and her fraud of a doctor name was mentioned by a little Oriental fella, a football player looking guy, and in the emergency room, I guess the interns or whatever, and they said, I think the Chinese ones, "Oh, you're with Dr. Mesa." And I said, "No, I don't like getting insulin poisoning." And those devils showed me they could address the pain. And if you give somebody something you call 8 times better than morphine, and yeah, I know it is because I had morphine in the Good Samaritan, and I had this fraud of a Dignity Health Catholic doctor, folks. Give me that, and it did work better, 8 times better than morphine, but gone in 2 hours. It didn't last long, but it tells me they know how to address pain, a serious pain they've never been in. Oh, in my Front Street Fiction, I advocate that you include hanging by the balls for all doctors. Make sure they have a respect for pain, and let me include my Constantine one. Big son of a gun. And he's got this guy in a little intern. It's our fun fiction. He's got this guy in an intern hanging by his balls for a long damn time. And yes, you know it's fiction because they rip off. But he takes them down, and as they get a little relief from that pain, Constantine looks him in the eyes. And he says, "If any of my family ends up in your emergency room, and you treat them with the disrespect, Melton, very real life disrespect, same as you picking up your phone trying to call me and see the Pope's Catholic frauds of doctors being the devils among true believers, that's the real stuff. Make a video of it, time, date, my number, dial." And Constantine tells that intern. that doctor, oh, that's a fountain of youth in my eyes. You can be a doctor for a long time. He tells him, you disrespect my family in that emergency room. You're going to be in my emergency room. And he swings that fraud of a doctor in our fun fiction. And yes, some funny looking folks in his shoes and doing a much better job because they respect pain. They respect people.